you're still there and haven't been pushed
Right,
out.
the stream is live. You can make me the co-host.
Okay.
Okay.
Kathleen, where do you get all your nice backgrounds?
This actually was also from actually this one I don't know, but Pixel does have some nice backgrounds, and you can basically Google just whatever you want, and something will come up, and hopefully it will be free.
A lot of free ones out there now. Yeah.
Yep.
This is actually a picture I took of the Grand Canyon in a tree. It was kind of interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a nice picture.
What,
Okay,
are you in?
go ahead and get started. I think we may have a few more people join us, but I think most of the people are here, and we got a lot to cover. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So this is Facebook Messenger, how it works, why use it. I want to welcome everybody to the class. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday afternoon or morning, depending on where you are. My name is Wade Yarbrough, and I'll be the guide for the class today. Briefly about me, I'm from a small town in Tennessee called Mason, just outside of Memphis. I have a PhD in psychology, but spent most of my working career designing, installing, and training users how to use hospital information systems. So technology has been my other love along with psychology. And what I love about teaching here with Get Set Up is that I get to teach people that are in the class because they want to be in the class, not because their employer is making them take the class. So it's much more fun for me. What we do at Get Set Up is hopefully make an environment where you can take classes you're interested in and interact with other people in the class that are interested in the same topic, as well as interacting with the guide. So that's the environment we want to create. Okay. All right. So I actually just muted everyone. So I do want to make sure everybody finds their mute. And so when you have questions and comments, be sure to unmute yourself and ask your questions or make your comments. I'll stop numerous times during the class and ask if anybody has any questions. So we got a fairly big class today. So if you can hold questions until I stop and ask if anybody has a question, it'll probably help us get through the agenda. I'm also going to open the chat. And so if anyone has mic problems, you can reach us through the chat. But if your mic's working, please just go ahead and ask your question or comment out loud so everyone else can hear your question and I'll hear it as well. I got one other thing I need to do here quickly. Okay, that is done. Okay. So the session is being recorded and any participant can get a copy of that recording. Just send an email to help@getsetup.io and I'm going to put that in the chat. So, and if you don't have that already, be sure and write that down and put it in your email contacts. Also, we are live streaming the class today, so we want to welcome anyone that's joining us via live stream. Thanks for joining us and hope you enjoy the class as well. But I do want to remind you the only way to get that full Get Set Up experience where you can interact with the other learners and talk with the guide is to go to our website and register for the class there. And finally, Get Set Up is not paid to promote any of the products or vendors that we train on. We are purely trainers. So let's look at the agenda for today. What we're going to talk about is what is Facebook Messenger, in case you don't know what it is. This is an intro class, so we're assuming that most people are near novices, if not complete novices. We'll talk about how to navigate Messenger, how to send individual and group messages, and how to make individual or group audio and video calls. So let's first put Messenger in the context of some of the other messaging apps. And there's really three top messaging apps in North America anyway. Instagram is all about pictures. So if you're really into pictures, sharing pictures, then Instagram is one of the ones you probably want to know about. WhatsApp is best for international calls, for security. If you're sending secured information back and forth, it has the best security. And it also will let you send documents of a fairly large size. So some of the reasons you might use WhatsApp. Facebook Messenger really is popular because of its tight integration with Facebook. There's things within Facebook you have to use Messenger to use, such as Marketplace. And it's simplicity of usage as well. So 3 different major apps. You don't have to pick one or the other. A lot of people use 2 or all 3 of them. I use all 3 of them, depending on what I'm doing. So it's not a, you have to pick one or the other, but we're going to focus on Facebook Messenger today. We do have classes on WhatsApp and Instagram as well, if you're interested in finding out more about them. So what is Facebook Messenger? Facebook built Messenger for direct communication between people with Facebook accounts. So that was the origins of Messenger. Facebook wanted to let people, when they're on Facebook, doing something, talk to other people, chat with other people while they're in the middle of their Facebook session. And with Messenger, your Facebook friends list acts as your address book. So it's very easy to message anyone that you're friends with. You can actually message anyone that's on Facebook with Messenger. It's not quite as easy to find people, but your friends are very easy to find and message on Facebook. But it's also a standalone app. You can easily get it and use it to communicate on the go via your smartphone. I'll show you several ways to get access to Facebook Messenger. And this last thing has changed. You do not have to have a Facebook account any longer to get Facebook Messenger. So if you don't have a Facebook account, and there are still some people that don't, even though it seems like most people have one, whether they use it or not, but you can now get a Messenger account independent of Facebook, your Facebook, or having a Facebook account. Questions about that basic information before we move on?
Messenger is not a direct chat. It's just a way to communicate other than through the whole group.
Yeah, you can do, and we'll talk about all the things you can do, but you can text, you can do phone calls, and you can do video calls all through Messenger.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Mm-hmm. So how do you get access to Messenger? And this is one of the other strengths of Messenger. And as you can see from here, there are lots of different ways to get access to Messenger. The primary ways most people use it is either directly from Facebook or from Messenger. So you can get to Messenger from your Facebook account on the browser or from Messenger running independently on a browser. But there are also now what they're called desktop apps for Windows and Mac. For Facebook, anytime you're in Facebook, you have access to Messenger from Facebook. I'll demo some of this for you in a few minutes. But there's also a separate Messenger desktop app. And then, of course, there's the Facebook mobile app and the Messenger mobile app, which will run on your smartphone, your iPad, your Kindle Fire, your Android tablet, pretty much anything that will support apps. You can get the Messenger app. Most people, I think, use it either as part of Facebook or using the separate mobile app, which is what we're going to be working with today for the most part, is the mobile app. But let me go ahead and just to show you how to get to it from Facebook. I'm going to go ahead and open a browser and just go to Facebook. And so this is now I'm in my Facebook account. I'm going to run this out a little bit so we can see all of it here. And this is Messenger. So that's an icon you should get familiar with because you're going to start seeing that. What is now happening is for Instagram and WhatsApp, you'll start seeing this icon. They're going to be using Messenger with those apps now as well. So but anytime you see this, if you click here, that brings up Messenger. So when I'm in the middle of a Facebook session, if I see somebody in there and I say, oh, gee, I need to talk to Sunil, I just forgot about something I needed to tell him, I can just message him right from here without having to grab my phone or do anything else. That was the original intention for Messenger, that while you're on Facebook doing things with Facebook, you can message people. And to message someone, you just click their name. And from here, I can do a text message, I can call them, I can do a video chat with them. And I'll show you how all this works in a few minutes from the phone. So it works pretty much the same regardless of the platform. questions about getting into Messenger?
Not getting into Messenger, but I do notice that, you can tell whether people are online at the time. But can you put a do not disturb or something that would block people from knowing that you're online at that time?
There is a way to do that. I'll have to see if I can find that when we get into the app. But there is a way to basically not show that you're on the app.
Online. Mhm.
There it's one.
Thank you.
Just to kind of complete the loop here, but like I said, used to be those are the only two ways to get to Messenger. Now there is a separate Messenger app. So if I just want to be in Messenger, I don't want to do Facebook, I can just go to messenger.com and it brings up Messenger. It sort of looked like it did on the other screen. It's just a little different format, but it's the same thing. I can click on my wife here and send a text message. I can call, I can video chat. So I'm glad they've done this. It looks pretty much the same regardless of which version you're using, the Facebook version, the Messenger browser version, or the Messenger phone version. I'm going to use the phone for most of the class. I think most people use it on the phone. Most of us have our phones with us all the time. We're not always on a browser, on a computer, having access to it, but most of us always have our phone here. So I think most people use that. So we're going to use that unless there are specific questions. So I'm going to go ahead, and if you don't have Messenger already, all you have to do is to go to the App Store and download it. And it's a fairly short installation process. Like any other app, you have to give it a username and password. If you already have a Facebook account, you can log in via Facebook. If you don't, you can just give it information and set up a separate account. So I'm going to go ahead and open Messenger. This is what it looks like. Again, it's that little icon. And let me go back to the home screen. Okay, so this is the home screen on the phone, and this is there's two different pages at the bottom. Chats, which is the default, and that's what you typically see on your screen when you start. These are the different conversations. This is called your inbox, kind of using the same analogy as a email. So your inbox has all the different conversations that you have going on with different people, similar to email conversations, why they're trying to kind of have that metaphor. And then if you want to go into any one of these, I'll click into Rand Ziegler, and it'll have the conversation that we've been having. I can kind of scroll up and get context if I've forgotten what we were talking about, and then go down. Let me go back out. Let me see what else I want to mention here. So the conversations have a date and time over here as to when the last communication happened in that conversation. So Friday, I had a conversation with my wife. April 22nd was when I talked to Randy. So that's what this indicates. And it's in reverse chronological order. The most recent conversation is at the top. The older ones move down in time. And if you see one that has, if you have a message you haven't looked at yet, it will tell you here. In fact, let me go all the way out. It'll also show me here. So this one here tells me there's a message I haven't looked at. So that's one way to know I need to go in and check my messages. When I go in, look for the blue dot, which will tell you which message has unread messages in it. You could have more than one dot. I've got just one today. And this is a message from Facebook telling me that I logged in from a different account, which was me and I did do. But I can go in that message, and now that blue dot goes away, and the one goes away from here, and the one goes away from here as well. So that lets me know I'm caught up on all my messages. Questions about the basic layout of the screen?
generator like this on the side of your house, you can qualify to erase your energy bill.
Okay, thanks. So we're going to start with the chats. You know, there's a couple other things we'll come to later. People is the other tab. And this is how you get to your profile. We're going to go into all these later, but we're going to start here because this is what you're typically doing. And so if we want to send a message, there's a couple of different ways to do that. If I want to send a message to someone that I've been conversing with already, the easiest way to do is just to touch their name here. Oh, and I'll mention it while we're here because you'll see this little 9-minute here in green. This means that she was on Messenger 9 minutes ago and is now off. But so I'm going to click here. And this takes me to the screen, which we saw a couple of minutes ago when we were looking at it from Facebook as well as from Messenger. So this is that basic conversation. And again, I can scroll up and see the context of that information. You can also use the search bar here to find someone if they're not in this list. So for instance, if I'm looking for, I'll just put Bob, there's always a Bob. So if I wanted to send a message to Bob safely, you can search and find somebody here that wasn't in that conversations list. I'll pick on Barbara now. So I've never had a message with her through Messenger, but she's a friend on Facebook. That's how I could find her. Remember that your Facebook friends are your contact list for Messenger. So I can now send her a message. And you can also message organizations as well. I'm looking for, oh, here, that's what I'm looking for. So if I wanted to message the Brunswick County Sheriff's Office, I can come down here and find them and send them a message as well. So, so any pages, organizations typically have what's called a page on Facebook as opposed to an account. So you can get to them. Now with the pages, I can't do a phone call, but I can send them a text message. So that's the primary ways to initiate a new message. Select somebody from the conversations or use the search bar to find a person or a organization that you are friends with or that you're following on Facebook. Questions so far?
Then are you saying only people that are friends on your Facebook can be used in Messenger?
They're the only ones that you can search and find like that. There's ways you can get to them, and usually it's through Facebook. In Facebook, well, I can show you since I've got Facebook still open over here. If I go to my profile.
Search. Good. Search Facebook.
You can search Facebook. I'm going to try and get one that's specifically. So these are people down here that Facebook is telling me I might know, but they're not friends.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to message one of them, I can go to their profile and from the profile, send them a message.
Okay. What if they're not there and you're just searching for somebody?
Yeah. It's difficult because think about Facebook has got probably 3 billion, 4 billion people. So if I'm trying to find my neighbor, Bob Smith, it's very hard. And this kind of gets into Facebook searching for people, different class, but you can do it, but it's pretty hard. That's why I say it's really easy to find your friends and message them. If you're trying to just find somebody that's on Facebook, but it's not one of your friends, you probably have to go to Facebook and do some fairly complicated searching to find them. But if you
So-
can find them, you can message them. So anybody that has a Facebook account, you can message.
Okay, and you don't have to befriend them? They don't have to
No.
be a friend? No.
Nope. Nope.
But if they have a Facebook account, you can message them.
That's correct.
Okay, whether or not they know you or anything else.
That is correct as well.
Interesting. Thank you.
Okay, oops.
Can you type in their phone number and then message them if they're not one of your friends?
You can't search in Messenger by phone number.
Okay,
That's a way to search in Facebook to try and find them. And it depends on if that person has their Facebook in their phone number in Facebook. So it's really designed to communicate with friends. But again, you can get beyond that. So let's
Okay,
say-
so if you find them through Facebook, how do you transfer that finding to a messenger?
The main thing is you'd use it in the one here. So again, Hannah Carpenter's not on my friends
Mhm.
list. I can click Messenger here, and now I can.
Okay, I'm sorry, didn't see that down below. There, it's right there.
And once I send that message, she'll come over here, and I could get to her to respond again. But to start it, you need to start it from Facebook if she's not. on
Right.
your friends list.
And that they have a link right in Facebook that says Messenger.
Yeah,
I've got it.
If you go to anybody's profile, there's a message. That's kind of the point about it. It's tied in really tightly with Facebook and works very
Yes.
well in Facebook. And while I'm here, I'll mention something else is that if you use Marketplace, I don't know if you know about Marketplace, but Marketplace is where you can buy and sell things.
Mhm.
And in Marketplace, if I want to buy this lawnmower, I have to send him a message using Messenger. So lots of things in Facebook are tied into Messenger, and that's the only way to communicate. So like this person doesn't give me his phone number, his email, or any other way to reach him. I can only reach him through Messenger. Okay, so let's actually go on
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
to the message.
I've had my hand up for a while.
Go ahead, Kathleen. Yeah, just go ahead and ask a question when you have a question.
Okay, on the messenger, they had little descriptions beneath it, like something 3000 and I don't know, they had little descriptions underneath the whole thing. And what were those?
In Facebook?
No, in Messenger.
Let's go into one, and I'm not sure what you're talking about. You can point it out to me when I get there. Is it went from here?
Let's see. It had little descriptions of something or other underneath them. I don't know if they were.
Oh, that was part of Facebook.
I don't think so. I think you were on Messenger.
Okay, well, if you see it here in Messenger, point it out to me because I'm not
Okay,
sure
all
what
right.
it was.
Okay, fine.
Because we want to get into how we're actually doing this. We've talked a lot about what it is and how to find someone to message, but let's learn how to actually send a message. And it's pretty straightforward if you've done texting before. So if I'm going to send a message, you would start down here. And just like if you're texting from your phone, if I wanted to send a text message, I could just click here, type a message and send it. I'm going to do a real simple message. Just let her know I'm in class because I'm going to be sending her some other stuff. So she knows why I'm texting her. So I can just say I'm in class and then this is the send button. And it sent that message. This little check mark means it's been sent to her phone. When it changes to their picture, that means she's read it and she's already responded with a thumbs up, letting me know that she got that message. That's how quick and easy it can be if you're just asking a quick message or giving somebody an update. Did everybody see this change? It changed so fast you may not have seen it, but when you first send it, it's a check mark, which means it's on her phone. So if you text somebody and they don't answer back, you can see, well, did they get the message and are just ignoring me? Or did they not get the message yet? And if it's a check mark, it means they haven't looked at it yet.
That blue line around her profile face, or
Means that she's active now. You can see her she's active now.
so that's the same thing on Facebook, because I have a lot of pictures on the top of my Facebook page on the computer, and they have circles around their, so that's what that means, that all those people up there, because a lot of these people I don't even know.
Yeah.
But yet they're up there with a little circle, a blue circle around their faces, their profile face.
Yeah, and it's the blue dot on Facebook that says they're active.
Uh-huh.
In fact, we'll go back there, but.
Wade? I've never
Yeah,
seen.
go ahead. Is it Joe? Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. When you type a message on Messenger, as soon as you start to type the message, some of those icons disappear, like the one for photo or image. Can you still put an image or photo after you write the text, or do you have to plan ahead? And not that I'm against planning ahead, but do you have to plan ahead and put your photo in first? Because I know the first couple times I used it, I had to get used to it, and I wrote the message, and then I wanted to send the picture, and there was no place for me to click on to add the picture. So I had to go back and kind of.
Yeah, it is a sequence. You have to follow a sequence, and if you use it a good bit, you kind of get used to that. But there is. We'll go back in there. I wanted to just close the loop here. This is the one that means they're active. The little green circle. The blue circle means something else, and off the top of my head, I forget what that means. There's so many different indicators in Facebook, and they're the same ones carry over to Messenger. But this means they're active, and again, this means they were active, but they're not right now. So again, my wife responded, and then she closed Messenger, so she's been off for 2 minutes. So I forget how long it tells you minutes, and then it just goes to like Randy, who is not on and hasn't been on recently. And I think that's to really kind of help if you're going to send a message to somebody. And if I send a message to Randy, I know he's not on Messenger, so he may not respond immediately. Whereas if I send one to Joe Collins, I know he's on Messenger, so I would expect him to reply immediately. Is why
Blue circle means they added to their story.
Okay. All right. I knew it meant something. Didn't remember what that one meant. Thanks.
And what does added to their story mean?
That's Facebook.
Okay, they added to Facebook.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna not get through our material. We need to stay in Messenger. I'm sorry, but if we go in and teach the Facebook class, we won't have time to cover the Messenger stuff. So I'm gonna try and not answer Facebook questions just for time. So let's go back in.
Let me ask why it's purple instead of blue or green.
Why? What's purple?
The thumbs up and your text.
I have no earthly idea.
Oh, okay. Because if you use iPhone, it'll be blue if the other person has an iPhone. If it's green, the other person does not have an iPhone, they have an Android.
Yeah, if somebody knows, there may be something that means, but if it has a meaning, I don't know what it is.
Okay.
There's something in the settings where you could go change the colors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think it has a meaning about anything going on out there.
You could just change the colors to your preference.
Okay. So let's and so kind of going back to Joe's question, when you first come into here, you can send a simple message like I just did. You can reply like she just did. I can do an emoji or a GIF. So which is these like the little dancing dog. If I want to send the dancing dog,
You just click on it. Cute.
I just sent that. And she just, her face just popped up there, meaning she saw it, and she's replied back already. This is send a picture. So we're talking about but if you're going to send a picture, you need to pick the picture before you come into here, because some of the options aren't available once you start typing. This is a voice recording. So if it's her birthday, I could sing happy birthday and send her a voice recording that she could play. And I've got the plus sign, which gives me other things I can do. So in this case, I can still get a picture. Now this one actually opens your camera so you can take a picture. Here I can go in and pull something off of my picture list, and that's what's down here. So I could select a picture and send that picture. Again, I've got the gifts here. I could go into the gifts again and pick one of those. And there's bunches and bunches of those. Oops. You can pick from. And you can actually send money if you're using Facebook Pay. So lots of different things you can do. Questions?
It's nice they've made it so easy to send money.
Yes. I've never tried that one. I think you have to have Facebook Pay. Facebook Pay is a tool you can use, so you have to enable Facebook Pay to use that. But
What was the microphone for? Video?
voice recording.
Oh, voice recording. Thank you.
Yeah. And then let me X out of here and go back to where we were. Again, this one is the camera. So if I want to take a picture, I would click there. It opens up my camera and I could take a picture and send the picture. Now, since my camera's open, I can also get to my photos down here. So I could do either take a picture or send a picture I'd already taken. So lots of things you can do in terms of communicating. Now, this is all sort of texting, the same as texting. And what's nice is the other things I can do is I can actually do an audio call. So if I click here, it will call her just like a regular phone call. Or I can click video chat and it will open a video chat. If you're an iPhone person, it's like FaceTime. In fact, since I know she's there, let me see if she'll answer.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Hi, honey.
Hi, honey. I'm in the car.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm in class, so I'm going to hang up so you can drive. Bye, darling. So, and I'm just going to click there to hang up. So that's a video chat. So it's kind of like a little mini Zoom type session. So those are the things you can do from the main screen. Questions?
Yes, I have one. Can you do more than one person at a time?
Good question.
Like a group type call or video chat?
Yeah, you can. We're going to go there. Let's see. And we've already. Oops. When I turn my phone sideways, it does this. I have to stop turning my phone sideways. I think we talked about this already about the indicators is what that is. So you can do a group call. So and so let me. And if you have a group here, and I don't think I have a group that I've been communicating with lately. Oh, well, there's a test group that I'd set up. So here's a test group. So if I wanted to communicate with that group, I can touch the group just like I did a person. And it brings up this group. And so I can do the same things. So no difference. I can do any of the things down here. I can call, I can do a video chat. But in this case, the message would go to all the people and it would try to call all the people. Doesn't mean they're all going to answer their phone and be part of the call, since this is an immediate call, not something scheduled like a Zoom class. But that's
So you have to set up the test group first, right?
If you don't have one set up, and I think that's my next.
I was just going to ask you, how do you set up a group?
Yep. So let's go back here. And if you're on an Android, it may have a different icon. It may be a pencil or a triple dot, but I think it's in the same place. If you're on an iPhone, you click the pencil. And then what this is actually doing, let me back up a second. So what this is really saying is start a new conversation and say, I want to reach somebody that's not down here. I can do that. And it brings up a list of all my friends on Facebook. And I can pick from there, but I can also create a new group from here too. So if I click create a new group, all I have to do is go down through here and select who I want to be in the group. And then click, and I can give it a name. And then hit create. And that will create that group. And so I could then go in and communicate with that group. I'm not going to create the group since it's not a real group and I don't want to confuse those people.
Well, that's fun.
That's how you can create a new group. And then they would be down here in the list, just like this test group is.
Is this something like Zoom?
It's sort of like Zoom, but in this case, you can't schedule it. Facebook has something called Rooms, and Rooms is like Zoom, but that's a separate class. Even though you can initiate a room. Let me go back. This is the equivalent of Zoom. It's called a room. I'll just touch into there, but we got another whole class we're creating to do this. But here I can create a Zoom meeting, or a room meeting, which is just like a Zoom meeting. I can invite people. I can create a link and send it out to other people, and I can schedule it for a certain time in the future. And then it opens up like a Zoom session. So it's very similar to Zoom.
Okay, again, it has to be Facebook people.
Nope, for a room, it does not. You can invite anybody to a room. Picking up some background noise. I'm going to, hang on, I'm going to mute everybody quickly here. But this again is a little more complicated. That's why we broke this out into a whole separate class. But that's the best way to describe it. It's very much like Zoom. There's some pros and cons, differences between a room and a Zoom. Briefly, the room is more really for socialization, whereas Zoom was really created for conferences and meetings and classes. So those are some of the differences, but there's a huge overlap in functionality. And I'm going to just cancel. Okay. You can have up to 250 people in the group if you're wanting to just chat. If you want to do calls like we just showed you, let me go back into that group again. You can only have 8. So if I have more than 8 people in the group, these 2 icons will go away. So you can't do a call or a video chat with a group of over 8 people, but you can go up to 250 for texting and anything down here at the bottom of the screen.
Can you do a call on a notepad on iPad?
Sure. You can do it on a laptop if you've got a microphone. In fact, you can do it on a desktop, but you need to have a microphone for the call. And if you want to do the video chat, you got to have a camera and a microphone. But yeah, you can do it on any of the devices.
Thanks.
And I just did it again. Let me keep going here. So let me go over a few of the other parts of Messenger, if there's no questions about sending the message, I mean, that's the thing you're going to be doing most of the time. That's why I wanted to spend most of the time on.
I just have one question on the groups.
Yep.
If you're in a group and you don't want to be in the group anymore, how do you get out of it?
If you go into the group, because it would be on my list, whether I created the group or I'm a member, I'd still have the same link. So you could go into there and touch the name up here at the top.
Okay.
And down here, there it is. Leave chat.
Oh. And that would take you out of the group permanently?
I think that will take you out of the group. I think that does.
Okay.
I saw at times people wrote to remove them from the group.
What was that?
I saw at times people wrote to be removed from the group.
Oh.
Okay.
They sent a message, said, remove me from this group.
Ah.
Yeah,
I guess that's another way.
Yeah, the person that owns the group can add people and delete people from the group.
Ah, okay.
Like if I wanted to add somebody else to the group, you could type add and you can add more people to the group if you're the administrator.
Okay. Thank you.
And
Okay, so that's something only the administrator can do though. One of the group members cannot add additional friends.
correct. You have to be an administrator. All right.
So this has to be used for only immediately talking to people.
Yes. Yeah. If you want to schedule something, you got to do a room, not a chat.
Okay.
So this is a group chat. And so it's going to call them immediately like it did when I called my wife.
Okay.
So you can't schedule a group chat, but if you want to schedule something, you can do a room instead of a group chat. So there's a lot of overlap in functionality between group chats and rooms. Gets a little confusing. Let me click on the people icon here. And this just shows you all of your friends that are currently active. We talked about this little green circle being the active people. So if you want to find out who's currently on Messenger that you want to talk to, you can find out from here. And then this is stories. And let's see, I don't really get into stories very much because stories, again, is really more of a Facebook thing that you can do from here. I'm going to, actually, for the sake of time, we're going to pass on stories. We talk about stories in the Facebook class. So if you want to understand what stories are and how to create stories, I'd recommend taking the Facebook class because I want to make sure we cover everything here on Messenger that's peculiar to Messenger. But if I want to, if people know what stories are, let me take 30 seconds. So a story is a very short little video or text. So let me click on this person. And that's her story. It's a picture of her bulldog. There's someone else's story. They're typically just, she apparently just did a run. Here's a picture. So they're pictures, they're short videos. That's what stories are.
Is it like an Instagram?
You can do stories in Instagram as well. Instagram has stories, Facebook has stories. You can do them from any one of the three platforms.
And do they only last a certain amount of time?
They last 24 hours. Yeah.
Oh, okay, thanks.
So here's where you can see people's stories. For the most part, people are doing stories more on Facebook, but you can, if you do a story on Facebook, you can post it to Messenger as well. More and more integration between the two. Let's see, okay. All right, so that was the last thing I was going to cover. We do have a couple of minutes for questions. No, I went through that fairly quickly, so let's any questions.
You mentioned Instagram message.
Wait, how can
you
Claudia, you're breaking up. Okay, I can't hear you, Claudia. Maybe wait a second and try again. Does somebody else have
Wait, can you mute everybody and let them unmute?
My question was, how can you delete a message from Messenger? Some of your old messages.
You can. So from a conversation, you can slide it over, go into more, and then I can delete that whole conversation from here. I think someone was asking about ignoring and muting. So muting is where it just stops dinging when people say, when that person sends a message. Lots of times people mute groups. If you got a big group and there's a lot of activity, your phone's constantly dinging. So, but you can mute a person as well, and you can block them just like on Facebook. So if I block this person, I won't get any of their messages anymore.
How did you go in there again?
Yep. Okay, let me go back. So just from the conversation screen, I'll pick a different one. Just put your finger here and swipe to the left. Oops. And it'll open up more and archive. Archive takes it off the screen, but it keeps it. Because it's maybe one you're not going to want to talk to her anymore in that conversation, but you don't want to delete it. Or you can click the more, and it brings up the option to delete that whole conversation. So if you want to clean up some things, you can delete them and get them off your screen. Deleting or archiving gets them off the screen. And here's your block if you want to block that person so they can't send you messages any longer. I think, did that cover it? Was that, Claudia, is that what you were asking as well? I think you were asking about deleting and blocking.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Now, if you go into, I think you can do the same. Oh, you can't. Okay. I thought you could do that on a message as well. Yep. So if for whatever reason, let me go back into my wife and I'll pick on her. If I wanted to delete.
So you can only unblock one message at a time. You couldn't like click and do like 10 messages in that same person's screen.
If I delete this, it will delete all these messages that he'd sent.
Oh, no, but if you just wanted to delete half, you would have to do one at a time.
Yeah, if I wanted to go into here and delete this message,
Mm-hmm.
what you have to do is hold it. And it opens up this screen, and under more is where I can remove just that one post within that conversation.
Okay, thank you.
Whereas if I do it over here, it deletes the entire conversation. If there's 50 posts in there, it deletes all 50 of them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to work on that and make it easier, like a text message.
Yeah, that's a little cryptic. Okay. All right, so we are 5 minutes from the end of the class, so I do need to go ahead and wrap up. And I do want to thank you for attending. That's the end of the official class. And I hope you enjoyed the class, and I hope you're enjoying your experiences on with Get Set Up. And if you are and you're a social media person, hopefully you're sharing it on social media. If you do, be sure and tag us in your Facebook post or wherever you're posting, and we'll like your post as well. There's some related classes. There's quite a few related classes, Facebook groups, and sharing photos on Instagram. There is also a WhatsApp class that goes along with that as well. So we cover all three of those messaging apps, as well as multiple Facebook classes.
What is OneNote? Organized with OneNote?
OneNote is Microsoft's note-taking tool. Okay. So if you have Windows, you've got OneNote. I think it's a great note-taking tool. It's the one I use most for my personal notes. So yeah, if you're interested in a great note-taking tool, that's a good class, organized with OneNote.
Thank you.
Does Apple have something like that?
Apple Notes is a competitor. Google has a couple of different note taking. Their primary one is called, what is it called? It's, hang on a second. Keep. So Google Keep is similar to OneNote. So all the main platforms have a note-taking tool. I use all three of them, but like I said, I like OneNote best of the three.
The iPhone is called Notes.
It's just called Notes, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
What's the gray circle around Barbara? Do you know?
I do not. Does anybody else know what, Facebook, it's got so many different indicators. I can't keep them all straight. I think that the gray is just the default is what I would guess if I was guessing. And then it's blue if it's something, if they've just updated a story. I think somebody had said is what that one is. And then the green dot is.
It means the person is not, it means the person is not logged on to the app anymore.
You mean they don't use Facebook?
It says the gray icon in Facebook Messenger means the other person is not currently logged into the app. The person is not available.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Be the same thing as the absence of a green circle. So I find all those indicators very confusing. Okay. All right. So let me let you know what goes on after class, especially if we got any people here that are new to get set up. So after class, you'll get an email, and there's several sections to the email. There's some class notes, and part of those notes will be some links to articles about Messenger. It'll cover some of the same material we covered in class, as well as some related relevant material. If you would like to recommend the class to someone else, you can send a link via Facebook. You can post it on your Facebook page, or you can send a link via email, whichever you're more comfortable doing. There'll be links to 3 classes you might want to take. Click that link. It'll take you directly to that registration page on our website. Give feedback. Opens our feedback page. Only 2 questions. How do you want to rate the class? 1 to 5 stars. How do you want to rate the guide? 1 to 5 stars. A place for comments. Comments aren't required, but greatly appreciated. And the last link, view schedule, will take you to our homepage where you can book another class. A couple of things quickly that are new, fairly new. Make sure you found them. View my complete schedule link on the homepage takes you to your list of classes you've already booked. You can launch to a class from here when it's time to start the class. If you decide you can't take a class, you can cancel it from here. Open that class up for someone else. If you know what you want to take, the easiest way to find it is to search. We were talking about OneNote a minute ago. So if you're interested in taking that OneNote class, just start typing, and you don't have to type the whole thing. I just typed OneNote. So there's Organize with OneNote. So I can click that and it'll take me to the registration page.
So how did you get into that list of classes you registered for? Was that in your OneNote?
No, so if it's from your home page, it's right here in the center of the home page, View My Complete Schedule. Now,
okay.
The other way to get to this is a shortcut. It's actually under the schedule over here and My Schedule. So it's 2 clicks to get there that way, 1 click if you take the shortcut. Both of them will take you to your list of classes. And it's reverse chronological order. It's which ones are coming up next.
I think my issue is I don't know how to get to the home page. I only get to where they show the classes to register for.
Right here where it says My Home is how you get to the home page if you're somewhere else.
Okay, try.
Yeah. But again, if you don't see this link, all you have to do is click schedule on the left and then click My Schedule, and it'll take you to the same place.
So what do you type to get to the home page?
Getsetup.io.
Thank you.
Wayne, I have one quick question. Wait, I mean, from my husband. He wants to know why you use the term guides.
I don't know. That's what they've always used. I think they were trying to stay away from the word teacher because it has some negative connotations.
Gotcha.
So I think they came up with a unique term.
I like that. I like guide.
Yes. Okay. Okay. All right.
Thank
So
you.
I am 2 minutes over, so I'm going to shut it down there. I do want to thank you for attending. I hope you enjoyed the class, and I hope to see you again in another class really soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wade.
Everybody.
Take care. Have a
Thank
good weekend,
you.
what's left of it.
Good day to everybody.
Thank you, Wade.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye.